Who do you think is the best player from your Premier League club? Let's find out. What's up, everybody? It's me, Stateside here, and we're going to be taking a look at every club's most impactful player this season in the 24-25 campaign. Whether you have a successful season or your season's seen as a failure and you finish rock bottom, who's going to have the biggest impact on that success or failure? Starting off with Arsenal, we have William Saliba, a player that played every minute of the last Premier League campaign. 23-24 season, he played all 3,420 minutes for the Gunners, 2 goals and an assist. Taking a look at some of his stats, 91st percentile of passes completed among center backs in top 5 leagues, 88th percentile of passes attempted, 65th percentile of successful take-ons, and of course, the best defense in the Premier League. He was a focal point of that defense. Jeez, I can't speak to start this video. Hopefully it gets better as we keep going. But again, William Saliba, successful season last season. I think it's more of the same for the Frenchman. Coming off a fantastic Euros campaign, by the way. He played phenomenal for France in the this past Euros. One of the key players for them, especially a team that couldn't score, a player that could set it up at the back for them. William Saliba, of course. But let's go ahead. Let's move on to the next team. Up next, we've got Aston Villa, and I feel like this one's a pretty easy player. A lot of talent on that Aston Villa roster. However, Ollie Watkins sets himself apart. 19 goals, 13 assists last season for the Englishman in the Premier League. Leading the Premier League in assists among all players. Taking a look at some of his stats among forwards, 97th percentile in assists with 0.36 per 90, 0.53 penalties, non-penalty goals, puts him in the 77th percentile. And then, of course, touches in the attacking penalty area, ranked in the 80th percentile with 6.01 touches in the attacking penalty area per 90. I think Ollie Watkins, again, just continues to be a phenomenal player. I think eventually he gets that move, but I think right now, as long as Aston Villa is performing, I think they've got Champions League football this year. I think as long as they're performing, he's going to want to stick around as long as he can, really. Up next for Bournemouth, we have Dominic Solanke, 19 goals, 3 assists. I think this one, again, he's just the best player on that Bournemouth roster. Pretty average team, but he just sets himself above and beyond the rest of that roster. I think that is pretty clear. 19 goals, 3 assists speaks for itself. 72nd percentile among forwards for successful take-ons. 77th percentile with 5.85 per 90 in touches in the attacking penalty area. And then, of course, non-penalty expected goals, 0.47, which is in the 77th percentile. Very, very solid player for Bournemouth. If they can hold on to him and continue to hold on to him through the January window, I think that that's going to be very important for them as they look to stay in the Premier League and maybe even push on for Europe or a cup final. Up next, Bryan Mbeumo of Brentford. 19 goals, 6 assists, 15 goal contributions among 25 matches. I think if he can stay healthy, he'll be very important for Brentford's success or failures this season. Obviously, Ivan Toney was out last season. They've had an off season. It looks like maybe he's going to be the most important player for that roster. I think it's important that Bryan Mbeumo stays healthy, but also gets the numbers that he needs to get for goals and assists. I think 15 goal contributions for him last season was good. I think if he can get closer to 20 this year, I think that's what he will do. But it'll be very interesting to see him. Among attacking midfielders and wingers, 85th percentile in non-penalty expected goals and expected assists. 0.28 assists per 90 and 0.34 non-penalty expected goals per 90. And then, of course, despite him being only a very small figure, 1.06 aerial duels, 1 per 90, which puts him in the 83rd percentile of attacking mids and wingers. So again, very, very impressive numbers from Bryan Mbeumo. I think if he can continue more of the same in this upward trajectory, of course, he's only 24, turning 25 here at the beginning of August. Can his 25th year be really the impact that he's looking to make here in the Premier League? I'm looking at if he plays a full 35 to 38 matches this season, I could see him ending up with, 12 goals, 8 assists this season. Let me know what you guys think on that one. Do you still think it's going to be Ivan Toney? Let me know down below. Another player that missed time due to injury, Mitoma of Brighton. 3 goals, 4 assists in 19 matches last season. Just not the campaign he would have wanted, especially being linked with so many big teams and a potential move away from Brighton. You thought Mitoma was going to be going for £70 million this window, but injuries hindered him. But he still put up really, really solid numbers. If you take a look at his progressive carries per 90, 6.39, puts him in the 90th percentile. Progressive passes received in the 93rd percentile, so he's coming and collecting the ball before he carries the ball up the field. 76th percentile in successful take-ons with 2.12 per 90. And then touches in the attacking penalty area, still getting those touches in the attacking area despite coming back and playing a role deeper. He had 7.2 attacking touches in the attacking penalty area. That's among attacking midfielders and wingers. Those stats are. I think if he can get his final product just above average, instead of being another Adama Traore, he can be go to a big club and really make an impact there. He's 27, just turned 27 here at the end of last season. He'll be looking for that move here in the January or summer window. But in the meantime, I think he's going to play an important role in Brighton's season if they want to qualify for Europe. Up next, we have Cole Palmer of Chelsea, 33 goal contributions last season, ranking in the 90s among attacking midfielders and wingers, 90th percentile for shot creating actions, progressive passes, assists, shots total, non-penalty expected goals, non-penalty goals, assist, expected assisted goals, non-penalty XG plus expected XG, ranking in the top percentile of all of those stats. And then, of course, playing a role kind of with a team that was turning over possession quite a bit. Wasn't really the best season. 0.69 per 90 and in receptions as well. So he's able to collect the ball high up the field for his team and move it very quickly back into attack rather than going back in defense and trying to play a role there. He's able to do his defensive actions up the field, intercept an early pass, and make the impact that he wants to make in the attack. Up next is Eberechi Eze of Crystal Palace. I think as long as he sticks around, I think he's going to have the biggest impact on this Crystal Palace team. We're talking about 11 goals, 4 assists in only 27 matches last season. If he can play a full 38, it'll be very interesting to see the numbers he puts up. Obviously linked to big clubs. 15 goals and assists, though. Very solid numbers, ranking in the among attacking midfielders and wingers. He's ranking in the top 90 plus percentile of non-penalty goals, non-penalty expected goals, shots total, successful take-ons with 3.02 per 90, puts him in the 91st percentile. Things that are going to be concerning for clubs looking at him is his progressive carries aren't exactly what you want to see in the 38th percentile, very low with 2.98, as well as his progressive passes received. So he's not collecting the ball extremely high up the field, 6.09 there, 22nd percentile. You want him to collect those progressive passes. So maybe in a bigger club where he's able to just kind of hang out up the field and collect the ball from a defensive midfielder he can rely on. Maybe it'll be interesting to see kind of what that looks like there if he's playing as a true 10 instead of having to come back for his defensive duties, which rank pretty decent compared to a lot of attacking midfielders and wingers. 1.53 tackles per 90 puts him in the 71st percentile. 1.18 blocks is in the 69th percentile. They're just kind of a few ideas, a few numbers there for you as well. For Everton, a very average team across the board, but one player that's going to stand out again and again and again for this Everton squad, Jordan Pickford. I think that he's going to rank very high up there in clean sheets once again. Goals prevented, I think he's going to be high up again. Second in the Golden Glove race last year with 13 clean sheets for that Everton side. Obviously, Everton shored up their defense, and they've got a very good manager in Sean Dyche. 13 clean sheets is very impressive for a team that's battling relegation. And he single-handedly saved Everton from relegation multiple seasons in a row now. I think there's no doubt he deserves his plaudits, and that's why I've got him as Everton's most influential best player coming into the 24-25 season. Up next is Fulham, who have Anthony Robinson to thank for success this season. I think that they're going to be a very strong team again. I do think they need some younger players to reinforce this team. I think Anthony Robinson's one of the youngest consistent starters for them. 37 matches played, 6 assists. Taking a look at his defensive actions, though, among fullbacks, 99th percentile in interceptions, 2.21. I think he led Premier League players in interceptions, at least led fullbacks in interceptions. 2.56 tackles per 90, 1.54 blocks per 90, 3.23 clearances, and 1.16 aerial duels won. All of those top percentiles, ranking among fullbacks again, and then also battling up the field. 1.02 successful take-ons per 90, 2.73 progressive carries. So he's also advancing up the field, hence his 6 assists he had on the season. So I think Anthony Robinson continues more of the same, and I think he has a long-lasting impact on the season for Fulham. Ipswich Town, you're coming up from the championship and you need a player to make an impact. I think signing Omari Hutchinson on a full permanent deal is very impactful for your success into the Premier League season. Do I think it means survival? I guess you'll have to wait for my Premier League predictions to find out. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. And then 44 matches, 10 goals, 4 assists in the championship. Only 20 years old, going to be turning 21 here at the end of October. Taking a look at some of his stats, progressive carries, he ranked in the 98th percentile among the men's next 14 competitions. So outside the top 5 leagues, the next 14 best competitions, he ranks in the 98th percentile of that. He ranked in the 99th percentile of blocks, 95th percentile of tackles, and then his touches in the attacking penalty area, 5.82 per 90, and a progressive passes received, 11.19. So nearly 12 progressive passes received. So he's picking up the ball in very advantageous spaces. So his movement off the ball obviously has a lot to do with that as well. Up next is Leicester City, and I've got Wilfred Ndidi playing a role there. 32 matches he played in the championship this past season, 4 goals, 5 assists. I think you need that rock in the midfield for Leicester. I think a proven leader. He's 27 years old. He's been in that squad for a while. Knows what the system looks like, knows what the team looks like. I think Wilfred Ndidi is going to put the biggest impact on that Leicester squad this season. I think we're going to see Jamie Vardy get fewer and fewer minutes. Taking a look at compared to other midfielders, he actually played a very aggressive role for Leicester City this year, which is very interesting for a player of his caliber and player that's known for being that defensive rock in midfield. But definitely something to take a look at here as we enter the 24-25 season, how Wilfred Ndidi have that impact that he needs to have if Leicester want any chance of staying up. Up next for Liverpool, Mohamed Salah, a player that could be leaving, could be still at the end of this window. Could be out the door. 28 goal contributions last season, still playing at the top level of the Premier League, of course. And I think that, this player he makes or breaks this Liverpool team. If he leaves, I think Liverpool miss out on Champions League football altogether. I think if he sticks around, I think they have a chance to go top 2 in the league, possibly even win the whole thing. It just depends, again, as with the new manager on slot, how they do as a club and how they adjust to the new system. Taking a look at some stats from attacking compared to attacking midfielders and wingers, he ranks in the 96th percentile of non-penalty goals, non-penalty expected goals. He's in the 99th percentile, and then in assists, he's in the 97th percentile. Shot create actions, he's in the 81st percentile. Touches in the attacking penalty area, again 99th percentile. 8.74 touches in the attacking penalty area for Mohamed Salah. Extremely. I don't think I have to tell you about Mohamed Salah. I think you know how impressive a player he is. So we're not going to spend any more time on that. Let's move into the next player, who you also know as a very talented player. Up next is Rodri, 8 goals, 9 assists in 34 matches for Manchester City. I mean, what is there to say? One of the best passers of the ball, one of the best defensive midfielders in the game right now. 12.28. He ranks in the 99th percentile of passes attempted, passes completed, progressive passes, among midfielders. So he's just unbelievable passer of the ball. And again, I don't think I have to tell you much about how good of a player Rodri is for Manchester City. Up next for Manchester United, there's a few good signings that have come in for Manchester United. There's a few good players that are already there, have signed previously, or even come through their academy. But we're going to talk about academy player right now, Kobbie Mainoo. What a player he's going to be. 24 matches played, a little under 2,000 minutes. Across the Premier League season, 3 goals, 1 assist. I think you're just going to see his numbers improve and improve. Just turned 19 back in April. Going to see him turn 20 this year. I think he's got a shout for being young player of the season here in the Premier League. I think that his numbers are just going to improve. Obviously, Manchester United didn't have the best season defensively. I mean, you've got Casemiro playing center back for quite a few games and things like, You have Casemiro playing center back for quite a few games. You have players that are adjusting to new systems. As Erik ten Hag brings in a lot of players, and I just think Kobbie Mainoo's just taking everything in stride. Young guy, physical. His physicality I saw in the Euros was unbelievable. He didn't have the best Euros, let's face it, but the physicality he put on display was unbelievable. For Newcastle, we've got a winger who looked like he was going to be on the move at the beginning of the window, but he will not be. Anthony Gordon, 21 goal involvements, 11 goals, 10 assists, split pretty evenly among goals and assists. Ranks very highly among attacking midfielders and wingers. 0.27 assists per 90, 0.27 non-penalty goals per 90. Also tracking back defensively, ranking in the 80th percentile of tackles for attacking midfielders and wingers. I think you could see him playing a lot heavier role as he gets more game time this season. Obviously, like I said, 35 matches played, under 2,900 minutes. So, I think I could see him up in the 25 to 26 goal contribution range this season if he continues his strides. Obviously, no Champions League. Don't think there's any European football at all for Newcastle this season. But I think that, seeing him play 38 Premier League matches without having to worry about a Champions League or European competition at all will be extremely helpful for Anthony Gordon, as well as Newcastle as a whole. I think they'll play much better this season and have an uptick compared to last season. For Nottingham Forest, we've got Morgan Gibbs White, 15 goal contributions this past season for him, which is actually a career best, despite him not getting as much attention as he did last season or the previous season when he scored 13 or had 13 goal contributions. 15 goal contributions for Morgan Gibbs White, ranking him pretty highly among attacking midfielders and wingers, ranking him highly in attacking stats among other midfielders because he's kind of played as a 10 and 8, in a team that's not very attacking in the slightest. And struggled defensively as well. Nottingham Forest, very up and down season last year. Managed to survive. If they're going to continue to survive, it's going to be because of Morgan Gibbs White. I don't think there's much else to say about him. We've seen him in the Premier League for now. I think it's 3 seasons. Quality player. And we'll be exciting to see what he does if he takes that next step and gets him up into the closer to 10 goals, maybe 20 goal involvements this season. It all depend on what Nottingham Forest is looking like heading into this season. Southampton, a player I thought was going to be leaving last summer. Kyle Walker-Peters stuck around, got them promoted right back up to the Premier League. 2 goals, 4 assists in the championship last season. I think he's going to continue to have an impact on this team. I think he's their best player by very, very long, wide margins. I don't think much else to say. We've seen in the Premier League for, I think, since he was about 20 years old, playing for Tottenham, transferred to Southampton, continued to have an impact there. Again, Kyle Walker-Peters, 27 years old now, hitting that stage in his career where you expect big things from him at that right back position. Dejan Kulusevski, a player who had an average year last year. People expected more from him as he was reaching 23 to 24 years old. He's now 24, going on 25 here in April, in the upcoming April. And 8 goals, 3 assists last season. Pretty good numbers at progressing the ball for Tottenham. I think he could play on that right wing, a little bit more of an emphasis. Really, it just depends on what happens in the attack of Tottenham. Of course, he played 36 matches, 2,762 minutes, so not many minutes. Played almost every match for Tottenham. Outperformed his expected goals by 4.7 expected goals, 8 goals scored. He did underperform his expected goals assisted, and that's, he's clearly playing and creating chances. However, just those chances being finished is not happening right now for him. And maybe with a true number 9, that'll happen at Tottenham. Up next, we've got the main man at West Ham, Jarrod Bowen. 16 goals, 6 assists, so that's 22 goal contributions in the 34 matches he played, outperforming his expected goals and expected assists this past season. Taking a look at him, comparing him to attacking midfielders and wingers, 93rd percentile of non-penalty goals, 88th percentile of non-penalty expected goals. And when you compare him to forwards, his defensive numbers are there, 1.16 tackles, so he's been playing a defensive role as well for West Ham. West Ham, who seem to be in the market for a striker. Could we see him getting a little more opportunities on the wing and kind of going back to that creator that we saw for West Ham previously? We saw last season 6 assists, which his career high is 10 back in the 21-22 season. However, we see 16 goals, which is his career high. Are we seeing him more as a goal scorer this time around? This is the second time in his career he's produced 22 goals and assists in the Premier League. Are we going to see more of him this season as an attacker, creator? It'll depend on what West Ham are looking to do in the market. Obviously, Mohamed Kudus has played on that right wing for West Ham, so it'll be interesting to see, do they continue that route with Jarrod Bowen playing more central? Do they eventually cash in on him and keep Kudus at the right wing? It'll be very interesting to see what happens with West Ham this season in attack. Up next is a bruiser in the midfield for Wolves, João Gomez, ranked 99th percentile in tackles among Europe's top 5 leagues, 4.35 tackles per 90. That is an impressive number for any player especially a player playing for Wolves in midfield. 1.73 blocks per 90 put him in the 92nd percentile. Brazilian midfielder, just 23 years of age. We're going to see more of him this season. I really hope so. 34 matches, 2,649 minutes, 2 goals, 1 assist. I think we've got much more to see of João Gomes as a ball progressor, but I think his role as a defensive midfielder has been unbelievable for Wolves. Really helped keep them in the position they were in this past season. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like down below. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video. Comment down below videos you want to see here in the future. I've got a few videos planned out as we're going into the season. A few 3 keys videos. We're going to take a look at some of the Premier League home kits. So if you don't want to miss any of that, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another moment of the videos. But anyways, see you in the next one.